Greetings and welcome to the energy of Aries. This is Ron from tarotofthetwinsun. Welcome to the channel. We shall go ahead and take no further delay on doing the reading known as the Great Mirror. The Great Mirror is known as a tool devised by the Order in order to show apparent karmas that exist for the energy of Aries. That is the first house as well. The relation of this house and this energy and this person. That is the Aries. Placements can depend on the house, so it can shift accordingly, but usually pertains to the seventh house, the significance of another within the energy of Aries. Okay, so these karmas should appear on different levels of representation within the Great Mirror, and it's your job to discern if these are relevant or if they're applicable. Yeah. So. There will also be a chance for an extended. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to include it or not, but there's a possibility for that depending on occasion. We'll go ahead and get started with a small reading on karma and then go straight into the mirror without further delay. Okay. For the energy of Aries, there is a karma here that deals with the motion of letting go of expectation, especially when it comes to results, ways of seeing yourself in terms of status. When it comes to this status, there is an element of balancing out that leads to an alleviation of tension, but also a way of processing, seeing from a very philosophical standpoint why something did not feel like the smoothest of passages from one place to another, from point A to point B, yet something had to occur in order for this to be, the Seven of Rods, some type of lesson. This has to do with really coming into one's power, not letting things affect you, especially when it comes to expectations, when it comes to a way, because there's really a step, two steps back, and then, or one step back, two steps forward, that sort of thing, an oscillation. There also is, within this connection, something from the past that has to do with the letting down of boundaries, or a certain sense of vulnerability, okay, coming back to a lesson that can be seen from a distance, and in a mature and extremely cold and cutting way. There's something about this that helps you to understand some of the inherent weaknesses within the situation itself. Okay, let's move in. So we're going to the gusto of the reading, the Great Mirror. when it comes to this um, this reading, the meaning of titles or the meaning of status quo, of social responsibility, it takes secondary importance. Okay, when it comes to this situation, dealing with another, there is an influence here in which the very act of giving to another, it allows you to know through the actions of this giving, which is conditional by nature, meaning that there is an expect of a return. But I think when you look into this person, there's something that you can understand about yourself, especially your higher self, your conscious self. But deep down, there's something about this that speaks about two people, two people or two energies that want to meet halfway from a place of deep emptiness, or a place of isolation, or a place of feeling like an orphan on one side, and then a place like feeling like a victim from the other, out of the sea or the great vast desert of emptiness. There's a need to give to one another. And your act of giving to the very fundamental sort of resonances within this connection to this person, it is a sense of gratification regardless if anything is returned or not, okay? Um, and the action itself, it situates yourself, situates your deeper soul into its throne of good action, in terms of an old school way of seeing things, of not really sacrificing your kingdom or your power, um, and in fact providing a sense of order, or a hidden order that revolves around the idea of giving, okay, the idea of giving, especially without a need for reciprocity, okay. You're dealing with someone here that uh, has a very strange way of doing things. They revel in the possibility of awakening very deep spiritual sides to them, or dimensions of them that do awaken, but they try to do their best to um, avoid anything in that essence. They're somewhat fearful. Their hands are tied. But the lesson that emerges out of this is having to do with Jupiter and Mars, teaching through action and actions through teaching, but also the path that may emerge out of this is one of mystery, one in which the very actions that you do may confound yourself, but they come from a place of need, okay? And that is something that you may want to perhaps unearth, this need to give, okay, or this need to, yeah, there it is, there, give in some sort of way. What emerges out of this in terms of conscious, sort of more less esoteric knowing, okay, this could be the process of psychological awareness, is a very strong inclination here to find a sense of well-being on both sides. There is a strong mirroring effect that has to do with the energy and the axis of Cancer, okay, which is the fourth house, which is essentially the house of the storage of karma, yes, where things sort of build up, not in terms of the past life, but in terms of actions of this life. What you bring home, essentially, in the fourth house is in effect here. And what I'm seeing mostly is a need to be rid of expectations, to also be rid of anything that may be not not good for the cup's energy, okay, which is what you can contain, what you can expect. Um, uh, there's a need to bring back water onto terrestrial Earth, and with this, there can be a number of things, but primarily there's fertilization, okay, and there's the processing through the coarse grain of Earth and the finer grains of Earth to process into rivers and go out into the 12th house, okay. So there's a pathway here of freedom that is initiated by this connection, and this person is dealing with a great deal of a need to fall back to places where they feel comfortable, okay, whatever that means, where they feel at home, okay. Likewise, there's something about the body or the temple of yours that needs to be clear, that needs to be refined or purified in some way to become very selective. Okay, Aquarius is strong here as well as, and Aquarius is all about isolation, the pathway to isolation from the 11th to the 12th houses, but also the ability to bring water to where it's needed, and if it's needed to be back to the earth, back where it's grounded, then that's something that you have to do. They are also listening for signs and effects from the universe to causally approach this. Okay, and causal is a stress word here. There's a scientific approach to what's going on between you two. This act, though, is bringing about the Three of Cups. So 5 minus the 2 is 3, and with this there is a sense of joy through distance, through separation, through respect of boundaries. Okay, and this becomes harmony. But then that 5 also showed up earlier within the reading. I believe it's here, 5 of Cups, and the 5 of Cups was in the reverse. So there's something about this 5 not really being there. There's a sense that there's a hidden hand or a heritage of disbelief, of denial here that simplifies things, okay? And it makes things on the surface appear to be the 3 of Cups. But it's through a sacrifice that you go through in order to surrender a type of 2 of Cups energy, love. Conditional or unconditional, is being surrendered in some sort of way. So there's this sort of coarse dryness to this that relates to the skin or the stratification of the armor of the crab, of Cancer. Okay, Cancer is very squishy inside, very emotional inside, but on the exterior it is elusive. It's smooth, and it can sort of go into water, okay, without being sort of washed out. On the incidental level, there's a strong need for things to move to and from another. Nails, especially within a coffin, yet the coffin won't be completely closed. There's something here also about a lack of experience or an unwillingness to go through experiential observations as within the topos of cause and effect, that is with a scientific method that Aquarius has, or that Cancer also provokes, okay? That is here, okay? And there is a sense that the past is something that wants to be brought into the present on one end, and also a sense that things are changing but they don't want to be changed here. There is an essence here that revolves around on their side, the Eight of Pentacles, an element of hard work when it pertains to karmas that they have been going through, that they are trying to see as a pathway to liberation of some sort. As well, you want to liberate, but also liberate through freedom of the mind, to go back to the roots of certain things that provide a sense of wealth within the connection. This is the act of love in a way, but also, yeah, that's the way I see it. Unless you add the 3, then it would be the 9. The act of also love in a way that is not possessive. Okay, those are 2 possibilities. But what emerges out of it is this sense that you can't go through the rite of passage with this person and they feel the same way about you. That's what I see. There is an unwillingness to go or commit to a type of experience, which is interesting. Um, and I could look deeper into this, and I could also provide an extended, but I won't. I choose not to, because I think this energy is sitting just the right way, and I have a pretty good feeling that even if I do make the extended, none of you will watch it. So I'm just going to leave it there, and just let this flow as it is. Plus, in terms of the bridges that exist between Aries and another, there is a sense of judgment and a sense of protection on one and the other. This person embodies a great deal of the Cancerian energy. Um, I think a lot in terms of an emotional sort of giving comes from them, and there's something about them that represents the path towards liberation of the spirit. Okay. Um, in this respect, there's a great potential about them that can foster or bring forward fertility in some sort of way. You are doing the same, but there's a difference and there is a need here that is forcing a reflexivity between both parties that requires a need for a sense for critical discernment, for clear mind as well. Something this resembles, if this is a situation that has died out and become dry, or a desert of sorts. There's something that can emerge out of that. That can be a gem, but it also can be a lump of coal. So those are two possibilities. When it comes to the advice, yes, the death sequence. There's something about this death sequence that points to primarily what someone has done or not done, in order, more like they haven't done anything and there's something that they want to transform. This energy of the abstract that is deeply around them. Perhaps they want to essentially give or meet you halfway, but they cannot. And even if you don't have much, I'm not saying that you don't, you still would give what you don't have in order to sustain a sense of dignity. Okay, and I think that's very powerful. Anyways, that is what I see. No extended. If you would like a private reading, I will be available otherwise. Bye.